When you lack sexual experience, you can't tell him whether or not he's doing anything sensible. You are not going to complain about orgasms. Sex is what he tells you sex is.
Them I bring in the relationship is them virginity. So the first man them I go ever sleep with are the same man I go marry them, and also she I go be a virgin. You know, feel like say enough woman nowadays would have more in a relationship or have a relationship, right?
There are two types of men who fantasize about having sex with virgins. The first one more than likely has some pedophilia tendencies, and they really like the idea of getting them as young and fresh as possible. The second one definitely has some grape tendencies, and they like that kind of violent sex that is painful and that is not enjoyable for the woman. I've had several conversations with grown men about this virgin argument, and what these men have told me is that there is nothing about it that is enjoyable. Like literally, it's not enjoyable for the woman, it's not enjoyable for them, and in fact they prefer a woman who has had some amount of experience, because then they can both enjoy the activity, right? It's just a forceful experience, and men who are obsessed with this are definitely steeped into the patriarchy, and they see sex as a form of control. So let's get to the next part of your argument, which is women should get married to the first man they meet. I try to encourage young ladies as much as possible to please get into your whole phase and get into it and enjoy it before you commit to any of these men. There's a reason why men like women who don't have sexual experience. When you lack sexual experience, you can't tell him whether or not he's doing anything sensible. You are not going to complain about orgasms. Sex is what he tells you sex is. So he's not under any pressure to perform and to make you enjoy it. It is what he tells you it is. You take what he gives you, and you have no idea that there is better out there. And so that's one of the reasons why men like women without experience, because they feel no pressure to do anything to make you a part of this act. I personally know two women who got married to their first boyfriends, and those two relationships ended very badly. In those marriages, they were abused, both sexually and financially and emotionally. They were cheated on. Their husbands had very little regard for the marriage, and all they did during the marriage was take advantage of the fact that these women had never been in other relationships. These women had no idea of what a loving relationship would look like outside of their marriages, and their husbands took full advantage of that, and eventually those two marriages dissipated. So a woman getting married to the first man who is her boyfriend or the first person she has sex with is no guarantee that that's a marriage that will last. Is no guarantee that that's a man who will respect her. Which brings me to your third point, is that women should not be experimenting with sex, and, as you said, should teach their daughters how to have quote unquote self-respect. A lot of us grown-ass women can easily debunk this. Men have no more respect for you, whether you are a virgin or not when you met them. Men who are steeped in the patriarchy, like you seem to be at an early age, men who at their core think women are less than, men who at their core think that sex is about them and think that a woman's pleasure does not matter, men who at their core think that women belong to men and ought to be controlled, will have no respect for a woman, whether or not she has had sex with 100 men or whether or not she is a virgin. Men who do not respect women, these things don't matter to them. These things don't make a difference, and it does not bring a better quality relationship. Back to the young ladies, and I say to you, Enjoy your whole phase to the max, because the more you are able to tell what good sex is, what a good relationship looks like, the more you get this with experience. You get with experience to be able to make decisions about what your relationship will look like. Men are banking on the fact that you have no experience in these things. Don't spend your time trying to change the mind of a misogynistic man. Don't spend your time trying to change the mindset of a man who is steeped in the patriarchy.